Hey guys, Michelle here, Michelle Beckner Family Wellness. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Happy Mama Healthy Baby live show episode 21. Usually I'm here on Tuesday nights around 8 o'clock after bedtime and then Friday afternoons, but switch things up a little bit this week because last night I went to a yoga class instead. So if you haven't joined me before, then welcome. I'm super happy you're here, and my eyes are really red. I don't know why. We're doing construction in our house, so I'm thinking maybe it's like the dust everywhere. The way it works, well, first of all, let me introduce myself. So I'm Michelle Beckner of Michelle Beckner Family Wellness. I've probably said that like 3 times already. I help mamas navigate life with young children. I help them take care of themselves so that they can feed their babies right. So Tuesdays usually, I'm here talking about happy mama stuff, so how to take care of yourself. And Friday afternoons, I'm here talking about healthy baby stuff. So what I focus on are babies who have allergies, breastfed babies who have allergies. So mom is cutting dairy or soy or eggs or something like that, or all of the above out of their diet. And then I am also your starting solids expert if you have any questions about starting solids. So I talk about a lot of that stuff on Friday afternoons. So if you did watch my video last week, or if you did join me last week, then I gave some tips for, I think I called it time management tips for mamas. So that was kind of like more general stuff, super good stuff. So go back and watch that. That would be episode 19 if you haven't watched it yet. And then tonight I'm going to talk about some more practical time management tips and how to get your stuff together. So you don't feel like you are just always trying to play catch up as far as like housework and cooking dinners and packing lunches and spending time with your kids and spending time with your husband and having time to yourself. Like, it's so easy to just feel like you're just always running and always behind, never getting anything done, never spending any time with your kids, always working. I've got a couple tips for you. So I'm going to talk about some things that have worked really well for me, and then I'll give a few tips that I've learned from other moms and what's worked for them. So I just brainstormed a little bit earlier today, some of the things that came to mind. And the first one is probably the first thing that a lot of people will tell you is like after you have kids as far as keeping the house clean, and that's lower your expectations. And I know I had been hearing that a lot, and I was one of those people before we had kids. Like Sunday mornings, we'd spend a couple hours, clean the house, go grocery shopping, do whatever chores and errands we had to do. And then if it's during football season, it was like a hard stop at 1 o'clock when the game started. And then I remember Brian telling me, like, when we have kids, we're not going to be able to spend like all morning cleaning the house and getting things done. So people are like, you're just going to have to lower your expectations. And I was like, there's no way. Like, I can't do that. I'm still going to keep my house clean. So I had one kid. I had Genevieve 3 years ago. And, I was still keeping up with stuff. Pretty good, I feel like. And then I had a second kid last year. I had Bradley. And, I pretty much stopped cleaning the house. So fortunately, we were able to budget in. We have people come clean our house twice a month. And that's pretty much like, that's when it gets clean. Like, I rarely do much outside of that other than like keeping the kitchen counters clean and stuff like that. So anyway, my point is with lowering expectations, like for me at least, I didn't want to, and I didn't think I could. It was like really hard for me. So it wasn't something that just like happened overnight, like, oh, I'm so busy, like, all right, I'm just going to have to live in a messy house. It was kind of something that I had to like get used to. And my house, I guess, just had to get dirtier and messier over time. But yeah, like I guess just kind of reframe it that way. If you're having a hard time with it, just know that like just like anything, like going dairy free, like I mean that has to happen overnight. But any kind of like big lifestyle change, diet lifestyle change, don't try to make it happen overnight because that just makes it way too hard on you emotionally, and just like it's just stressful and draining, right? So just know that your expectations are going to have to be lowered, and they're probably just going to lower naturally the busier you get, right? So that's one good tip that I have. Um, Next is something that I've been practicing, I don't know, for a while now, I guess, and it's go to bed with a clean kitchen. We do that not every night. Like right now, I just unloaded the dishwasher, but I didn't reload it, so there's a couple dishes in the sink. But again, I remember pre-kids, most nights we just didn't feel like doing the dishes, so we load everything in the sink and take care of it the next day. It was whatever. I'd rather relax and drink a beer, and then take care of dishes when I got home from work the next day. But now, when I get home from work, I have dinner to cook. I've got kids climbing on my legs and screaming and crying. So the last thing I want to be doing is dishes, especially with a 1-year-old who's trying to climb in the dishwasher and touch every dirty dish out there. So that's kind of like an unwritten rule in our house is we go to bed with a clean kitchen. So I usually cook. I try to keep things as clean as possible. Like I try to clean and put away dishes into the dishwasher and wash pans or whatever as I can while I cook. And then usually the way it happens is I'll be cooking. Brian will try to be taking care of the kids. And then after dinner, it's my turn to take care of the kids, to play with the kids. Like that's my bonding, fun play time that I have with them. And Brian will do the dishes, and yeah, and then sometimes it's not all done, so I'll come back down to finish them or whatever. But it doesn't really matter who does what. Like you find what works for you. We've found what works for us pretty well. But it makes a huge difference coming down in the morning to a clean kitchen, or coming home from work the next day to a clean kitchen. It's really great. So that's one thing that's worked really, really well for us. And it just really helps with your peace and calm and sanity. Another really great tip is, I think, is just pay attention how much time it takes to do little cleaning tasks. I've noticed most things, they may seem overwhelming, but it really only takes like 5 or 10 minutes to do. Like we could have a full dishwasher that needs to be unloaded, counters and sinks full of pots and pans and plates and cups and whatever. And it looks so intimidating and I don't want to get to it. But when I do it, it takes 10 minutes. Like it always takes 10 minutes or less, no matter how many dishes there are. So, and if you think of it in that way, like it's going to take 10 minutes or less, it's really not that bad. Like it's a lot easier to jump in. Same with like mopping the kitchen floor for me, or like mopping most of the downstairs floor. It really only takes 10 minutes for me to do. Or cleaning a bathroom. It really only takes about 10 minutes to do. I mean, I'm not talking about getting there with a toothbrush and scrubbing the grout, but you know, like a good wipe down, whatever. A lot of those little things take about 5 or 10 minutes to do. So pick, you know, I know a lot of moms, and I try this sometimes, I'm not great at it, but try to do just like one cleaning task a night. And so knowing that it's only going to take you 10 minutes, it's not so bad, right? So just keep that in mind, and then maybe that'll be a little bit easier for you to tackle big stuff. So those are like my biggest things that I found have really helped for me. I guess the only other one I would mention is meal planning and meal prep is huge. So that's why I'm not going to talk about it too much. I've done a post on it before. I have like a super, I don't know, what's the word for it? Like a uncommon tip for meal planning. So go back and look at one of my past Happy Mama episodes. I have no idea which one it is, but it's titled something about like unconventional meal planning tip. And I also have a blog post about meal planning too. So that is super important. That'll save you so much time, and not just time, but like mental energy of coming home every night trying to figure out what you're going to cook. If you already know it, you're all set. And then doing meal prep like on Sundays or whatever day works for you. That's always good. And it doesn't have to be prepping dinners and lunches for the entire week, but at least getting some stuff done is super helpful. So That's a huge one. Okay, so that's like the big things that I utilize, and a few other tips. I know a lot of moms that use grocery delivery services. So I've heard good things about Instacart. They just started working with Wegmans. So if you shop at Wegmans, then that's awesome. You can do them. They seem, so I looked into it a little bit. The prices are a little bit higher at Wegmans. I know some stores, they keep the prices the same. But Wegmans, it was like a little bit higher to pay for like the person shopping for you. But yeah, I mean, that's totally worth your time, right? For me, like we do family trip to the grocery store every weekend, and it's kind of like our family time, and we love to do it together as a family. Genevieve gets a sticker when we check out, and they get to ride in like the little green tractor cart, and so we like to do it as a family. And like, you know, if you're trying to find ways to get things done so that you can spend more time with your family on the weekends, you know, maybe kind of reframe it and make errands as family time if everybody enjoys them. So that's what we do. But anyway, I was talking about grocery delivery. There's Instacart, there's Amazon Fresh Direct or something like that. There's a few different options out there, and I know like, was it Giant does like Peapod delivery? I think it's them. Most stores do some kind of delivery. The only thing like that worries me about it is produce. Like, I don't know, I like to pick my own produce, and we get most of ours from a CSA anyway. But so if anybody has any experiences with grocery delivery, leave a note in the comments below. I'd like to hear more about it so I can recommend good stuff to people. Okay. Oh, another tip that I hear a lot is just clean the bathroom while your kids are taking a bath. So if you've got a little bit older kids that can be kind of, you know, you don't have to be watching them the whole time they're in the bath, then you can like wipe down the toilet and the sinks and stuff while they're in there in the bath. So that's a really good tip. You obviously, I guess, can't clean the bath when they're in there, but maybe after they get out, you can give it a quick wipe down while they're getting their pajamas on. Oh, I love the day when my kids can just like go get dressed on their own. Genevieve can, but she's still like resists it a lot, and it's usually just quicker to do it for her, which I hate. Like that I have to, you know, I should just make her do it on her own, but it just takes forever. Anyway. So yeah, clean the bath while the kids are in the bath. They're getting ready for bed if your kids are old enough to do that. I hope you can hear me. I feel like I'm sorry. I'm like kind of far away and I'm talking quietly because I don't want to wake anyone up. Okay. Another big tip is minimize the toys and clutter in your house. That's a huge one. And that is something that I would love to do, but I feel like my husband's not quite on board, and like everybody else in the world, it seems like, isn't quite on board because we're always getting more toys and clothes from friends and family, grandparents, all that kind of stuff, which I mean is, you know, they love our kids. It's great. Like I totally appreciate it. But actually I'm sitting in the kids' playroom now. It's pretty clean, but like they have so much stuff. Like it'd be so much easier if they didn't have so much stuff. So if that's something that you're into, then yeah, minimizing toys totally minimizes the amount of time that it takes to clean it. And then obviously, you know, start as early as possible having them help pick up toys, and try to pick them up every night. We're lucky we have like a separate playroom where we try to keep everything, but still things kind of spill out through the rest of the house. So that's another tip I hear from a lot of moms is just doing like a quick pickup of anything around the house before you go to bed at night. So yeah, and then I saved the best for last. Actually, I have two things, but the best for last is laundry. Dun dun dun. It's always mountains of laundry. It's amazing how much laundry kids can make. And going from like just 2 adults before kids to having a baby, it was, you know, like quite a bit of laundry, but I felt like it was still kind of manageable. But then going to 2 kids, like, it's ridiculous how much laundry there is. Especially babies go through a lot. Luckily, their clothes are small, but we're definitely never caught up on laundry. I don't know if anybody with 1 or more kids is ever caught up on laundry. So what I find kind of reassuring, I guess, is I hear this from a lot of moms. It's like you just do loads of laundry like whenever it works, and then it takes like a whole week to get them folded and put away. So it seems like a pretty common theme. So like that's the way to do it. That's what works for us. So like during the week, we also do cloth diapers. So like we wash them every other night. So every other night, we only really have time to do one load of laundry a night. So every other night, the load is the diapers. So when the diapers aren't being washed on those nights, maybe we'll throw a load in or whatever. Usually on the weekends, we'll just like go through a bunch of loads, wash, dry, just dump them into the hamper, and then throughout the week, like while we're watching TV or whatever, we'll fold them, and then maybe like 2 weeks later they'll get put away. But yeah, totally cool. Just take your time with the laundry, whatever. If it's wrinkled, fold as few things as possible. Like whenever I change sheets on the bed, I don't fold sheets for beds. Like I just crumple them up until they're ready to go on the bed the next week. I try to do them once a week. So yeah, don't fold sheets. I don't fold my toddler's underwear. Like just shove it in the drawer. You know, if it were up to me, I probably wouldn't fold most of the baby's clothes. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, so that's laundry tips. So that's a lot of, that's like all the big tips that I had for you. I do have one more if you stick with me. So give me some likes or some loves if you're feeling this. Leave in the comments if you've got any other things that work really well for you. But again, I said lower your expectations and know that that's not going to happen overnight, unless you're one of those people that like is cool living in a dirty house, which is good for you. That's awesome. If you're like, yes, I have an excuse to lower my expectations, then that's great. Go to bed with a clean kitchen. That I really, really like. Remember that most things that seem overwhelming will only take about 5 or 10 minutes to do. Meal planning and food prep for the week is great. So go back and look at my old show on that. And check out grocery deliveries. Leave in the comments if you've tried any. I want to hear your experiences. Tackle laundry like throughout the week and don't worry about folding it. Clean the bathroom while the kids are getting ready for bed or taking baths if you've got older kids. Minimize toys in the house. And yeah, that was pretty much everything I talked about. The last thing, which I found is kind of key from talking to moms, is like, what's your motivation for having a clean house? And there could obviously be more than one. So like two big ones are A, that you want to be able to have family time and spend time with your kids on the weekend, or you want to just be able to relax on the weekend. So I've heard moms say like, yeah, we one day a weekend that's dedicated to just relaxing, drinking beer outside, hanging out with the kids, whatever. So anything I can do to get that day of just pure relaxation is totally worth it. So, you know, find your motivation, keep it in mind. Another one is just like, just think about how much better you feel and how much more sane and calm and happy you are when your house is just like, maybe not completely clutterless and completely spotless, but just like a little bit put together and not so gross. Like it just makes you feel a lot better, right? So that's another motivation. So really think about what's your motivation, and that'll kind of help you do those things to take care of the house. And then obviously, well, I guess I talked about it last week, but ask for help. That was a huge thing, but I talked about that last week. So make sure everyone is pitching in, partner, husband, kids, whoever lives with you. I always ask the dogs to fold laundry, but they end up just sleeping on the pile of clean clothes and getting them gross. So I don't know. I guess it's never going to happen. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that stuff. All the tips I have that from myself and from other mamas. I'd love to hear any tips that you have. So leave them in the comments. And I will be back here on Friday. Good night, guys.